Coming up on Coastin' the Desert. Look guys, we're at SeaWorld Abu Dhabi again.
That was probably the cutest coaster I've ever been on.
You want to fish?
Oh, he knows.
I just can't stop walking around with my mouth hanging open. I really enjoyed this park the first time around, but I feel like my appreciation for it has only gone up. Well. Didn't expect to be back here so soon. Look guys, we're at SeaWorld Abu Dhabi again. So, what happened? Well, we canceled our plans to go to Yas Waterworld.
Yes!
Haha! We decided that we wanted more time at the theme parks out here because they're so awesome, and our day at SeaWorld, if you saw that vlog, was very, very rushed. And because of the city pass that we bought, we realized that we don't have to use our ticket for Yas Waterworld. We could use it for another theme park if we want to. The park hours here are naturally shorter than like a theme park in the US. They're only open till 6 o'clock today, and when we did our first day, we spent a good amount of time doing the Penguin Encounter and the Sea Venture, which were incredible experiences, but it meant that we missed seeing some regions of the park. We missed the whole other roller coaster that was here, the Eel Racer. I mean, it's just a kid's coaster, but like, that's one of the attractions that we missed, and we only got 2 rides on Manta, so this is gonna be a makeup day. We're gonna get to do some of the stuff that we missed and spend more time exploring the different areas. If you haven't already seen our vlog from day 1 here at SeaWorld Abu Dhabi, please go check it out because this park is incredible and you get to see some of those unique experiences that we got to do as well as our first impressions for a lot of these areas. But this park is amazing. I'm actually stoked to be back here. The front entry area of the park is very similar to SeaWorld San Diego where it's just a bunch of touch pools. It's really pretty. Just like the rock work and presentation, everything is just like wonderfully done. Look at this. Look at him eat that lettuce. That's so cool.
The longest mountain ranges and deepest canyons.
This is seriously the coolest screen ever. This is part of your main central hub, and that's what's amazing about this is each of these portals like take you into the different lands. They've really done a great job with like guest flow. Probably the biggest area that we didn't get to spend any time in is Micro Ocean. So we're heading there first. We're gonna go check out the fun little details here. This archway is completely made out of fish. The vibe of this section is just immaculate. Here we are in the queue walking up. It said it's a 20-minute wait, but this is the station and there's no one here, so I actually think it's just a walk-on. Eel Racer was absolutely adorable.
That was probably the cutest coaster I've ever been on. It was so fun. It was fun.
It was so well done.
It
They
was.
completely hide the lift hill because it's like enclosed and surrounded by all this theming. The front of the train is beautiful, and it's actually like a pretty creative and interesting layout. Like the way that it winds around all these different like theming elements.
Yeah, and I also love when you're going like in that little helix. They do some really cool lighting effects on like the coral or whatever this is. Overall, it was really well done.
Yeah. Placement of everything in this land is fantastic because you have all the different rides that it's winding around. They did a fantastic job with designing this section.
Having this indoor area where you can have like all of these larger than life structures to go through on a coaster like that is just amazing.
And you said it makes you extra mad now at Walt Disney Studios and their indoor section, right?
Well, to be fair, theirs is more of like an entryway, but even that one's like kind of...
Hey, if anything, these indoor parks show like the potential that you can have with a section. Like, this is absolutely
Where
incredible.
is this at SeaWorld Orlando?
Literally. So that was Micro Ocean. Now we're back in the hub, heading into Rocky Point. Whoa.
I think like bobs up and down to make waves.
That's really cool. I think this area is designed to look like the Pacific Northwest. Maybe like San Francisco area, maybe? I don't know. But it is probably the smallest section that we've seen. Like, what you're seeing here is pretty much the land. It's just the seals. Although it does look like there normally is a pathway that would lead you somewhere over here, but I guess the animals are taking a break, so not today. Wait, hold up. I found underwater viewing.
Look, that's a stall. That's literally a stall.
Oh,
That's
let's
a
keep
stall.
going.
They're dueling.
Whoa.
That's a stall. He's upside down.
Dude, there's so many. Whoa.
Love that.
I'll say one thing that's a big difference between this park and a place like, say, SeaWorld Orlando or San Antonio or whatever, is the multiple levels. There are a decent number of stairs in this park, so you can see everything from different vantage points, which is really, really cool.
My lunch. For lunch, I got some fish.
That is actually disgusting. It smells so bad.
You want a fish?
Oh, he knows.
Oh,
Are
he
you a
knows.
good boy? Are you a good boy? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yay!
Oh, these are in the water. What?
Hi, buddy.
Mine too?
Yay!
This is so disgusting. All right, we got a new friend. All right, buddy. Oh! Yay! Good catch. Now we're going into Tropical Ocean. This is another section that we saw a decent amount of, but not everything.
Oh, we mainly ate here.
Yes, we ate
But
the
the
food
food
here.
was great.
Food is so
There
good.
it is. Oh my god.
That's the restaurant. That was delicious.
We can go back.
I mean, we could. So to replicate these guys' natural environment, they will sometimes make it rain. So we have a sprinkler going on to replicate rain so that these guys are not just stuck in a building with perfect weather 24/7. Here, slothy, 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 slothy.
Should I put it in slow motion?
Oh my,
Yes.
this is slow motion, honey. There's a huge theater over there. We definitely did not see that last time. We are sitting enjoying a snack over here from that place. So you got a small little pizza, and then this is a chicken shawarma wrap.
Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex shawarma wrap. Whoa. Whoa. Hey, buddy. Look at the size of this tree. This is huge. This section of the park is so cool. There's just birds just walking around. Look at this. Excuse me, sir. It's like we're back in Florida. Look at these birds.
They probably have funny humans in here too. That's exactly what they're
There's
thinking.
some weird looking birds here.
He has an excellent way with color and patterns.
Yeah, the artist did a really good job designing them. No way. Look at them. They're like just like right here.
I love your cereal.
You love your cereal? Stop with your Fruit Loops. What are you eating?
Actually, his food looks kind of good.
That looks kind of good. Can I have some?
I like eating vegetables too. But instead, since I'm at a theme park, I keep eating
Hi, buddies. Look at this. You think we did some cool experiences. You can dine down here and the dolphins will be like all around you. That's cool. We did not see this pathway at all when we were here last time. This whole area with the birds and everything, we just completely missed.
It's a good all we came back.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad we came back. There's so much to this park. And here it is, the coolest restaurant ever. This is your backdrop. Wow.
That's a really like clear screen.
Yeah. They did a really good job with the animations.
So like the most colorful, beautiful fish.
I've never even seen some of these like fish before.
Very tropical looking.
Very. Nice. There's this whole nother underground level. Wow. Is this where Manta is? Oh, so it connects to.
Yeah, we just didn't go all the way this direction.
Oh, okay. This is really, really cool. Wow.
It's literally like we're underwater. Like they have like the shipwreck and like it's cool because when you're above, it's themed to the beach and stuff. And then when you're under the water.
Wow.
That is so cool.
There's just a full dude.
As opposed to a half dude?
As opposed to like just fish.
He's vacuuming.
He's vacuuming underwater?
Yeah.
I am so glad to be back here looking at this entrance sign. When we only got 2 rides last time, I was like, I'm so sad. I'm not ready to leave.
No, it's really good.
Yeah, it was a fun ride. I felt like we needed more rides to like get a better feel for the attraction. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna re-ride this thing a couple times. There's the station, and this is the line. So maybe 2 trains, aka probably like a 20-minute wait. Their operations here, as you saw in the last video, are not the fastest. All right, first big difference from last time we were here. They are currently on 2 trains, which is a welcome change.
Yeah. After how long the dispatches were when we were here like last time, this is good. And there's like a line. Like it's not a huge line, but it's enough to warrant
2 trains, absolutely, yeah. I wish they were doing 2 trains last time. Doubled our ride count. We've now ridden it 4 times instead of the original 2.
Yay!
So
we did it.
we did back, and then we did like row like 3 or 4, and we're gonna come back and do it again later. But updated thoughts.
I still love it just as much as I did before.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to ride it more because like I felt kind of the same as you, where I enjoyed our rides that we had, but I wanted more. I feel like I actually understand the layout a bit more, whereas 2 rides isn't really enough when it's like that long of a ride. Like it is a long ride.
Yeah, when you enter the park, that's the furthest away from the station the ride actually is. It doesn't register like how like big the ride is until you actually see where it actually like where the first launch is from.
So how is it operationally? This is a little interesting because we have 2 trains now instead of 1. However, they're definitely not the fastest still. Like we hit the brakes, and you know, again, really long ride, and the curtain opens so we can see into the station, and not all the restraints are even down yet. Like,
yeah, with a ride that long, there's no excuse as to why the train shouldn't even be ready to go. Okay, if you're still checking restraints, that's fine. But like, even then, the layout has 3 launches, and it is ridiculously long in length. So you should be able to, like, the train should theoretically just roll in.
Yeah, there's not even a seatbelt on this ride.
Yeah,
like it should be pretty quick moving, but it's just not.
One thing that's like across the board different here than in like the United States is it's something I didn't even consider. A lot of specifically women here will wear headscarves. They will wear different like religious garb that is very flowy,
yeah.
And it's not necessarily safe to wear on a ride because, like, God forbid, like I don't know, like it could get caught in a wheel or something.
It's like the capes they sell at the Great Adventure. They're flowy and they can get caught in something.
Yeah. It's the same thing as like when you go to Harry Potter World at Universal. Like you can't
wear a
your
cloak.
cape.
Yeah,
you can't wear your cloak. Exactly. So they will give out like things to kind of hold them down. They'll give like a whole body like thing to cover up all of it to make sure it's all like contained. And some of the parks are handing them out as the guests are like boarding the train.
Yeah.
What they're doing here is they're handing them out to those in line. So that way, like if you're like getting ready, like if you're like maybe a train or two away, you've already been given it, so you can put it on and be ready to go. Whereas like at Ferrari World, I want to say they were handing it to people after they were already sitting down.
Yeah.
And it held it up a lot.
It was like, yeah, this should be something that is done a train or two before you actually get into your like row with the queue gate.
Yeah, and you know, it's inevitable here. It's like Islam is like the primary religion out here, so obviously it's something you have to consider. And it's not like, it's just like an extra step. And it's, as long as it's handled well, which it seems like it has been handled very well, particularly here though with the operational way that they're doing. It's really good.
I will say they're also very, very strict about loose articles. We've mentioned this in past videos, but we saw some examples just while we were here at Manta that were a little surprising. One is, when they say nothing in your pockets, they mean nothing. We saw someone have to hand over a tissue that was in their pockets because they're like, you can't have that in your pocket. It's like, this is a tissue, and they're like, no, give it to us.
They also won't let you, like I have like very, very secure like Birkenstocks, and these aren't, it's not like a floorless train or anything like that, and they're still like, they don't want you wearing them. And it's very odd because like, I understand if it's like I wear them on a coaster, and your feet are dangling there. And like there have been times I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking them off, so I don't have to think about it. But
when there's a floor, you should be fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know, definitely interesting and different out here. So we're gonna go ahead and walk around a bit more. Here's a Stingray Touch Pool. This is the same exhibit as when you ride Manta. The entrance to Manta is over there, and then when you roll out on the train, you see the back side of the exhibit, and here's the top part. All right, this is a new one. What? It's a big old praying mantis. Holy crap. That is fantastic. What? Here we are at the Dolphin Stadium. We're gonna catch a show, see how they do them out here. Look at this. Instead of having benches, they have like rocks and like fake grass that you're sitting on. So everything feels like very organic, like this theater is built into the side of a mountain. This is such a different setup than we're used to. Like,
I like it way better.
Like you just sit with your back up against this.
It feels a lot more like relaxed.
Yeah.
Like I can enjoy
Well, you don't miss the steel bleachers or whatever?
I don't want to be at a high school football game, so no.
Oh my gosh. Whoa. It's cool seeing how a different SeaWorld park does their take on the Dolphin show. There were a lot of similarities, but there were also a couple differences.
Well, you know, there's only so much you can get a dolphin to do. They're like a, you know, long thing with little fins. Like, so like obviously it's a finite amount of tricks you can teach, but like it amazes me all the time how you can get dolphins to just be like so obedient to like tricks and stuff. It's
Dude,
so
just give them
cool.
fish and they're fine. They're good. What's so funny to me is that, you know, like I don't know specifically about the dolphins that we just saw, but a lot of the sea creatures here at SeaWorld Abu Dhabi were sent from other SeaWorld parks in the US, because you can't just buy a dolphin. Like, it's not like going to a pet store and just buying a dolphin. You have to trade a dolphin. So like the other SeaWorld parks would send creatures across the globe here to SeaWorld Abu Dhabi. And so I know, it's very possible that some of the animals that we're seeing here today, we've already seen before. This whole area looks like an underground cave, like in the ice. This place is so cool.
You're right, it is very cool. I am freezing.
So this food location is called The Catch. It's right here, like with all this iceberg theming. And look, you have underwater penguin viewing. Sorry guys, no torches allowed.
The fact that I literally have to make a sign.
That means someone brought a torch at one point. That they're like, no, you can't have that
I
here.
always have to wonder what happened to make like a certain sign.
I know. There's something unsettling about selling fish at an aquarium where we've been staring at fish all day. Everywhere we go in the Emirates, the desserts just look insane. I want all of them. Here's another viewing, this one from above ground, so you can see all the penguins.
What the Rise of the Resistance?
Are we in space?
This literally looks like the thing for Rise.
Oh.
You've been detained by the Force Order.
Do not reveal the location of the secret base.
Makara.
I just can't stop walking around with my mouth hanging open. This is insane.
I imagine this is what Epic Universe is going to look like with the different portals.
Dude, I don't know. This is pretty tough to beat.
I mean, not indoors, but I meant just like this part of it where
The
you, like,
portals?
there's like a portal that enters like each area. Oh, so cool.
This is just insane. The sheer size of this aquarium is just unreal.
We were right there.
We were literally in there. Literally, that was us over there. That's so nuts.
The sharks don't really mind the humans there because they actually train when people can be feeding. They associate their food with a specific area.
So we went to go do the Hypersphere, and it is down now for annual maintenance for a whole month. So thank goodness we hit this park when we did, because if we waited, we would not be able to ride this attraction. So, oh well, guess we're just doing it once. So as we've been walking around, we keep seeing ads for these like crazy looking cookies, and so we all got one, and I think this is the first time that I've tried something in the Emirates that I did not like.
They need to step up their cookie game.
This is like
It's
shockingly,
like so dry.
it's very dry, it's not soft at all, and there's like no flavor, and you can't even taste the chocolate. It's sad.
Tastes like bread.
Yeah. Like, this is very, very deceiving. This looks really good. Trust me, it's not.
It looks like Gideon.
Yeah,
Like Gideon-
it's
no,
not even
Gideon.
close. We're back. Shocker. All right, let's use up some of that last remaining time we have for our day on Manta. Our last two rides there on Manta, it is 6 o'clock, the park is closing, so that brings our total to the day for 4. At least my total period is 6. How many times have you done this now?
I would say probably about like 10-ish, around that, yeah.
That's pretty good. So I think I overall like it best in the front. Our last ride there was in the front row. I really like, after the third launch,
Yes.
that twist up, like coming up where you just get thrown to the left.
Yeah, the elements I think are taken better in the front. There's one or two where it's nice in the back, but overall, the ride, to me, is definitely a front row ride.
Yeah, the biggest problem with this ride is just the operations. Like in this case, like right there at the end, the biggest problem I thought was like the grouper that time, because he was like so unbelievably slow at loading rows, and they don't fill the rows until your train is there, and so they're dispatching with half-empty trains because they couldn't find like 2 people to go ahead, and it was like unbelievable. I was like, this isn't rocket science, guys.
The wait was posted at 20 minutes, but when we walked in there, that was easily a 1 train wait. If they just showed like a sense of hustle or like urgency, then the line would not have been as long as it was. And that grouper at the end of the night was just, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It was just not working. There was literally a point where 8 empty seats that were sent out when there were still people in line, and there was nothing wrong with like the back 2 cars. I even asked like one of the people, I was like, is there anything wrong with the back? And they were like, no. And I was like, how? Even on the unload side of the platform, there was one of the attendants was like, we need to fill the train, let's go. And he was just like, oh, we do? It was just
Yeah, and then again, like what we mentioned earlier, they just take forever to open the gates and forever to unlock the restraints. It's just like very basic things that, like, at least here in the US, you don't really think about because it's just like, it just happens naturally. Like, okay, the train pulls in, restraints go up, gates open. Like, I understand that they have to wait for, like, it seems like a policy that they have to wait for everyone to exit the train and off the platform before they open the gates. But still, even after the train's empty, they're just sitting there.
Yeah,
and they haven't opened the gates
I would say their policies that they have in place, they're not bad policies because at the end of the day, the park's gonna do what they want to do. But if they just did it with more sense of urgency, or they actually like spieled to the guests clear and concisely what to do, then their operations could have been a lot more fluid than they were. It was very like staccato or like robotic. It wasn't fluid.
Yeah, they should be spieling to people before they're entering the train. Instead, the previous train has unloaded, and then while it's sitting there empty, then they start telling people, and they won't open the gates until they finish their spiel. It's like, no, you could be doing this while the stuff is going on. Again, it's just like stuff that like we take for granted. But here in the UAE, it's just, it seems like they're a little behind when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
And so we say goodbye to SeaWorld Abu Dhabi. Only Yas Island things. I can be looking at the SeaWorld sign, and then in the distance, what is that? That's Formula Rosa.
It's closed.
Yeah, we know it's closed. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
But still, like, you can look at one theme park while at another theme park. That's pretty cool. You know, I really enjoyed this park the first time around, but I feel like my appreciation for it has only gone up. I loved experiencing all those different areas and seeing those sites that we missed that first day.
Yeah, after seeing all that, I'm very grateful that we came back because there was a lot that we missed. And I already really liked the park without that stuff. And now I'm like, holy cow, like, I don't know how anyone could spend less than a full day here.
We kept making turns and just getting lost and discovering new places within the park and just new exhibits that I cannot believe that we actually like missed. It was so weird. One thing I do want to say that I also really appreciate about the park is no matter how busy or dead it seemed, every nook and cranny of that park was staffed. We lost our way, I guess, into like a spiral staircase under a tank or whatever, and there was a food stand, and it was fully staffed, ready to go. I think Sarah got something in there, and it was hot and good. I was like, wow, this park does a really good job at staffing their position, so props to them.
I feel like a lot of places will just start to cut people and be like, okay, like we just won't use this or this or this or this, and they're like, no matter what, if you pay the amount to get in, we'll make sure every option is like available, and I think that's great. That being said, I feel this way about all the parks here. It is moderately a good thing that they are not getting slammed with crowds because of what you were saying earlier about like operations. I can't picture this place with crazy attendance operating the way they do now with like Manta and even some of the other parks, like with their like loading procedures and stuff. It's almost too strict. Like I understand like IROC in the US is like strict, but this is way more strict. They won't even load people in like the area with the gates until the other train is like gone, and it like doesn't make any sense, and it just wastes so much time. And I'm like trying to picture like a full, you know, huge crowd of people here with those operations, and I'm like, people would be livid at how long they'd be waiting for rides.
We were in line for Flying Aces the other day, and the quick queue line we saw was way longer than it should have been, and people were actually coming up and complaining just due to the fact that they weren't properly gauging which line to choose from to fill in the rows. So the fact that they weren't even able to handle that and the park didn't even seem to be that busy, it was like operations could use a little bit of work.
I've heard from multiple people that the busiest time of year for these parks is November and December, and I cannot imagine coming here during that time frame when there's like 10,000 or more guests in that park. Like that just sounds miserable. So for that reason, I actually highly recommend coming in like the January, February time frame.
Oh yeah, the weather hasn't been that bad. I know we said today has been a little hot, but we were inside, so who cares?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've talked a lot about how the indoor parks here, you lose your sense of time. SeaWorld Abu Dhabi is a little different because it has half windowed and you can see out into the sky and there's natural sunlight coming through, and then you have half where there's no windows and you're completely immersed in the environment. So it has a little bit of both. Versus like Warner Brothers, it's just like darkness the whole day.
I think they do a good job of balancing between with windows and without windows. Because I know when we went on the Eel family coaster, that was like we were deep in the ocean, so it made sense not to have windows there.
So that does it for this episode of Coastin' the Desert, SeaWorld Abu Dhabi, Day 2. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Coming up on Coastin' the Desert.
I am so glad to be back here.
Somehow the ride took my bra off.
This park has amazing roller coasters and some of the worst dark rides I've ever experienced. How do they approve that? They need to get rid of that as soon as possible.